Look, I'm just going to say what a lot of people are thinking, but won't say out loud. The 90s was the best decade. Not perfect, but the best. And I'm not just talking about nostalgia. I'm talking about something real that we had back then that is just gone now. And most people don't even realize what we lost. So let's get into it. The music, start with the music. Because if you were alive in the 90s, you already know. Hip-hop was at its peak. And I mean its actual peak. Lyricism mattered. You had to be able to rap. You had to say something. Artists were competing to be the best, not just the loudest or the most controversial. Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z, Outkast, these weren't just rappers. They were storytellers. R&B? Don't even get me started. That music made you feel something. Genuine emotion in every record. You could put on an album and go through 5 different feelings in 40 minutes. But here's the thing, people don't talk about enough. The 90s wasn't just good for one kind of music. Every genre was firing at the same time. Rock, pop, alternative, neo-soul, new jack swing, all of it was hitting. And people were open to it. You could listen to whatever you wanted without somebody questioning your loyalty. I'll give you a personal example. I'm a black man, and some of my favorite music back then had nothing to do with R&B or hip-hop. I loved the B-52s, Rock Lobster, Love Shack, Rome. That music was just fun, pure energy, no pretense. And then turn right around and put on Morris Day and the Time, 777-9311, The Bird, Jungle Love. Completely different world. Same afternoon. That was normal back then. You liked good music. That was the only rule. Albums meant something too. You bought it. You listened to the whole thing, front to back. You sat with it. Music wasn't disposable. You weren't skipping to the next thing in 30 seconds because your attention had been trained to last about as long as a sneeze. Talking to people like a human being. Here's one that might make some people uncomfortable, but it's true. Back in the 90s, if you wanted to talk to someone, you walked up and talked to them. Simple as that. A young man could approach a woman, introduce himself, and the outcome was one of 2 things. She was interested or she wasn't. If she wasn't, you said okay and you moved on. No scene, no one felt threatened, no one needed to document it or post about it. You got a yes or a no, and life continued. There was something healthy about that. Both people knew how to handle it. You learned how to read a room. You learned how to take rejection without it becoming a whole thing. And you learned how to actually talk to another person face to face, which turns out to be a skill you need your entire life. That dynamic has completely changed. And I'm not pointing fingers at any one group. But somewhere along the way, a normal human moment became something complicated, something loaded, and everybody lost something in that. The social vibe. Let's talk about how people actually communicated back then, because it was different in ways we don't appreciate enough. Cell phones existed in the 90s, but they weren't what they are now. You had a plan, 600 minutes a month. That was it. So you were strategic. Most real conversations happened after 9 at night when the free minutes kicked in. You'd sit on the phone for 2 hours after 9, just talking. Actually talking, getting to know somebody. And if you wanted to reach somebody before that, you figured it out another way. You went to where they were. You left a message. You showed up. Communication required effort, and that effort meant something. Social media technically started in the 90s too, but it was simple. Basic profiles, simple connections. There was no algorithm feeding you outrage, no comment sections turning into war zones, less anger, less performance, and a lot less fraud. The only thing you had to worry about back then if you met someone online was hoping she looked like her picture. That was the biggest risk. We didn't know how good we had it. People were tougher back then, but less angry. You could have thick skin without having a chip on your shoulder. You could take a joke and give one back. You could disagree with somebody about something real, politics, sports, whatever, and still go get something to eat with them afterward. That's not weakness, that's maturity. And we've lost a lot of it. Respect was also earned differently. You had to show up. You had to be present. Your word meant something because people could look you in the eye when you gave it. There was no hiding behind a screen, no curated version of yourself. You were who you were, and people knew it. Kids actually went outside. This one sounds simple, but it goes deep. Kids in the 90s were outside, all day, unsupervised, figuring things out. You were bored sometimes, real boredom. And out of that boredom came creativity. You made up games. You built things. You had conflicts with other kids, and you resolved them without an adult stepping in every 30 seconds. That boredom was actually doing something for you. It was building a brain that could sit with discomfort and come out the other side with something. Now, kids have a screen in their hand before they can walk. And I'm not judging parents for that. It's a different world. But something got lost in the trade. Movies and TV that actually had stories. The entertainment was just better. I'll say it. Movies had plots. Characters made decisions that made sense. You had to pay attention. You couldn't zone out for 10 minutes and still follow what was happening. TV shows didn't assume you needed something new every 8 seconds to stay interested. They built things. They let stories breathe. And the variety. Action, comedy, drama, thriller. They weren't all blending into the same thing. Each genre had its own identity. Now everything feels like it was designed by a committee that ran it through 15 focus groups and took out anything that might make someone feel something too strongly. Safe, predictable, forgettable. The economy made sense. This one isn't debatable. The numbers are the numbers. In the 90s, you could get a job, a real one, without sending out 200 applications, sitting through multiple rounds of interviews, completing a skills assessment, a personality test, a background check, and still not hear back. You went in, you talked to someone, you showed up on time and did the work. That was the formula. And the cost of living matched what people were actually making. Gas was cheap. Rent was something a working person could manage without taking on 2 other jobs. Groceries didn't feel like a financial decision. People weren't rich, but they could breathe. There's a big difference between not being wealthy and feeling like you're one bad month from losing everything. A lot of people back then didn't have that feeling. A lot of people today do. Outro. So yeah, the 90s wasn't perfect. No decade is. But what we had back then, the music, the openness, the ability to just talk to people, the community, the affordability, kids actually being kids, that was real. And we didn't protect it. We traded it in for convenience and connectivity and ended up with something that is neither convenient nor connecting. That's worth being frustrated about. Not just nostalgic, actually frustrated. Because this didn't have to happen. If you grew up in the 90s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, do yourself a favor and go find out what you missed.